Um, Linda. Linda, Linda, Linda.
Hey, Kaleena, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. And who do you have with us? Linda, is she with you?
Well, she's one of my best friends, so
Oh,
I have no
wonderful.
idea how she ended up on this call, but that's awesome.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So, my folks usually are not on time. I'm just going to say that right now.
Okay, I'm okay
So,
with that.
hi, Annie. I see you're here. Hi, Donna. Here we go. They're starting to come in. Hey, Courtney.
How's the weather in Oklahoma? Now's about the time I'm missing it.
Oh, God. You know what? It has been, hey, Missy. It's been cold. We got like 5 or 6 inches of snow
Oh,
last week, and now it's melted. Today's going to be in the high 50s.
oh, it's melting up here, so it's a nice little mess going on, but
Yeah,
I think it's going to be in the 50s as well. I just wish it would stay that way.
I know. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm really ready for winter to be over, and we've got a ways to go. Just glad we don't get it all
Nice.
the time. So when? Well, I'm not going to ask you questions until we get a few more people on.
Okay.
Got another couple of minutes.
Missy, are you enjoying Clubhouse?
Are
As you're
you?
chewing, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean, look, I'm eating my turkey stir fry.
Nice.
Look, I'm drinking my lunch. It's not a beer. It's
I
not.
have this much progress on my water bottle. Got some,
I
Well,
have
it's
that
better
too.
than the 5 donuts that I ate before this, so we're doing good.
I think you burned some donuts.
Morning.
I love Clubhouse,
Morning.
and I have an interesting opinion about it.
Do tell, Missy. Do tell, please.
Well, it's interesting because when I'm lead generating or doing different things, like all these, hey, so-and-so pinged you, so-and-so pinged you. And I'm like, okay, you guys are going to need to pace yourselves. And also be careful who you learn from, because anybody can go in there and just start, create a room and start teaching other people.
Oh, is this
What I-
Clubhouse?
Oh, yeah. So what I found so far, though, is that you can tell the real deal from the BSers. So I've already met a couple of athletes that, the last couple of days. And one of them is actually licensed in Oklahoma City and but stationed overseas. And then I found an investor this morning that wants to start investing in Atlanta. So you just kind of have to sit back and listen and watch and pick and choose which rooms that you're going into. But so far it's fun.
There are some naughty rooms. Be careful.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm
Yikes.
definitely not doing that one.
All right. Well, listen, it's 11:30 and we'll probably keep getting people joining us, but I like to start on time. So I would just like to say a huge thank you for Kaleena for saying yes to be our icon this month. And you know, we were on a roll of bringing these people into Norman and being in front of our people live, and COVID has brought new challenges for us. However, it's turned into a blessing, because we are now able to get in front of people like you that perhaps it would have been more challenged to actually physically get you here. So thank you so much for your time. We're going to let you just talk about yourself, your business, and, you know, kind of, you know, when you got started, what brought you into it, what worked really well for you to grow like you have grown, and, you know, what didn't, and, you know, share some of the nuggets of your success with our people. And then we'll open it up at the end for some questions or, you know, some commentary from some of the group here. So if you would like to get started, just go ahead and it's all yours.
Oh, fun. All
And
right.
I will probably interject and ask some questions too. So
Okay. So I'm originally from Michigan, and the first time I came to Oklahoma was in 2004 and moved into Edmond, was stationed in Broken Arrow. So I did that lovely little drive every day. And then realized real quick that it was too far of a drive, you know, thinking 44 miles is not a bad thing until you're on that turnpike, and then it's awful. I got out of the Army in 2006 at Leavenworth. So it was December of 06 when I got out. When I initially got out, I had the interest in to get into real estate. However, my sister-in-law's best friend had scared me away from it because it was, you know, 100% commissions. It was, you have to buy this, you have to do that, you know, just all the negatives that came out. And I don't know if she was intentionally trying to scare me away from it, or if she was just giving me the real deal facts about it. So the second time I came down to Oklahoma was when I became an Army recruiter as a contractor. So I liked Oklahoma at that time. I still do. And I knew that recruiting in Johnson County, Kansas was going to be a no-go because, you know, trying to get them to leave their, you know, cushy lives to go into the Army was probably not going to happen. But that was just, you know, maybe a mindset that I had at the time. But I came back down to Oklahoma City in June of 2007. And I was an Army recruiter until like 2009. So I've been all over Oklahoma. My first duty station there was in Midwest City. And so I had to cover some of the outer schools out there. And then I moved up to the Stillwater recruiting station while I lived in Edmond. So I've been doing a lot of driving for years now. And then my final duty station was at Quail Springs Mall, and I absolutely loved that job. I was a contractor, did not know that contracting entailed that they could terminate our contract at any time. But that was really my first taste of sales, because for me as a civilian, I had numbers that I had to meet as well as the active duty recruiters. But for me, I got paid off from per person. So you start dangling that money carrot over my head. I was like, oh, I got this. So I was actually an introvert before I became an Army recruiter. And then I had to really figure it out at becoming an extrovert. And nobody would ever know that because I have a very high D now. So I kind of flip-flop myself. Once they got rid of us, Oklahoma, I don't feel like ever had that crash. And maybe it was because, you know, that's when more tornado happened and all the building was still going on. And I'm assuming it's still going on down there. I should have gotten into real estate at that time. I just still was not ready because of being the breadwinner in the family. I knew I needed the insurance benefits for my family as well and the steady paycheck. So I actually got into insurance, worked at the Liberty Mutual office there in Oklahoma City off of Memorial. And I did that for, I was licensed total of 10 years. I just now did not renew it in 2020 because I'm not actively selling it. So I didn't want to, you know, continue paying for something that I didn't need, or that I didn't want to confuse anybody as far as like what I truly do as far as a career is concerned. I moved back up to Kansas City just after the earthquake started happening in Oklahoma. So out of there after, I could deal with the tornadoes to a point, but once those earthquakes started, I was like, I'm out. So we moved back up here. My husband is from Kansas City. And so that was in tail end of 2011. What I didn't realize was that the insurance rates were a lot better in Oklahoma than what they were in Kansas City when it came to Liberty Mutual. And so I decided to move from Liberty Mutual to a broker. So having the ability to shop multiple carriers versus just one captive carrier was actually beneficial. But I also was around a lot of real estate agents when I came up here. I know you guys know Mike Sohn and everybody from that was at Liberty Mutual, and they've now gone out to broker roles. Well, they all capitalized on you guys as real estate agents. So I couldn't come into your offices, and I had to figure a different way out when it came to selling insurance. And so that's when I really started the social media aspect. And that's also when Twitter first came out. So Facebook at the time was just not that what it is now, but Twitter was the thing to do. So we do those tweet ups, and I'd meet everybody and being able to build my business that way. So when I moved up to to Kansas City from Oklahoma City, I used Twitter as my tool of meeting people, and I would do the tweet ups when we first came up here. So I don't know if those exist anymore because I'm rarely on Twitter now, but in order to rebuild my business, that's what I did. And so once I realized that I really just needed to take that plunge and get into real estate, because I was extremely fascinated about it. I wanted to do it for a long period of time, but at the end of the day, I just needed to take that plunge. And so that was in September of 2013 when I got licensed. And that first year, I actually was on a team for a short while for about 9 months, came with Keller Williams, figured out real quick teams were not for me as far as being on one. Now I've tried running a team, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I decided that maybe KW wasn't what I thought it was either. So I left for about 3.5 years and went to a small boutique broker. But also during that time, I ended up having to go back to work full time in the insurance. So as 2015, 16, and 17, I worked full time while I was building my real estate career. In the tail end of 2017, I tripled my income that I was making in insurance in real estate. So I did a little bit over 5 million in sales as a part-time agent in 2017. So in 2018, I was like, peace out. I'm just going back to this at full time. And in 2018, I did a little bit over 10 million. So 2019, or I guess 18 was, 19 was a little bit over 15 million. And in 2020, I did a little bit over 20 million. Now in 18 and 19, I thought that I wanted to have a team. If one thing that I know about myself is that I just run and do, and I have a tendency to just keep going and doing everything on my own. And it's hard for me to slow down and try to help train people because I just operate at a very fast pace. And not saying that I won't ever have a team in the future. I'll probably end up hiring back-end support versus actual agents. I like the single agent role just because I'm accountable for myself. And I know that I'm going to hold myself at a very high standard that I don't have to be disappointed in not being able to train somebody the way that I need them to be trained, or if they're not performing the way that I want them to perform. And that's usually based off from what they've told me as far as what their goals are versus me setting those goals for them. So 2020, when I finally let go, 2019, I finally decided I'm just going to do this on my own, figure it out. 2020, I did 77 units by myself. And like I said, a little bit over 20 million in volume. A lot of that came though from agent to agent referrals. So I've really capitalized on the social media aspect. That's why I love the Clubhouse stuff going on right now, because you don't know who you're going to meet. And being able to, my best friend is on here, Linda. So I met her, coming back to KW. I came back to KW in 2018. It was February of 2018. I did the whole little 4 months at EXP because I wasn't ready to come back to KW. That was not for me. So when I came back to KW, I really wanted to go to like the events. I had just missed family reunion, but I did go to mega camp that year. And I was blown away by everybody's kindness and willing to share everything. So it was a different experience than the first time I was at KW because I didn't, plug in like I needed to. And that's it in a nutshell.
Well, okay, so so much there. First of all,
I know. I told you.
I'm telling you, I when I hear someone say I did 77 units on my own, so you've got some admin help, right?
I don't have anybody right now.
You did
So all of that was on my own. And I have insomnia, so that helps. I know, Linda, I'm crazy.
So your systems must be incredible. What kind of
honestly, I run off from a spreadsheet is what I use. I'm horrible about, going into like a database and consistently calling people. I do it off from my spreadsheet that I use. And that's why I said when I'm going to hire the back end support at some point to go in and, work my database. But I stay in front of all of my people through social media and on this spreadsheet that I use.
Okay, so what worked really, really well for you this past year? And then on the flip side, what didn't? What did you learn and where'd you have to improvise, move, pivot, shift?
Well, COVID didn't work for anyone this year. However, I am not one of the people that could just sit home and I stress really hard when it comes to money sometimes because I never want to be in a position that I don't have the ability to pay for my family or take care of them, or I had to figure things out differently. So up here, while we weren't allowed to do open houses and we were not allowed to have people in the homes, I actually figured out like FaceTiming or Zoom through these homes so that, the people that were still moving to Kansas City, they were still able to purchase their homes. One of the other things that I figured out real quick, I think I started in 2019. It's a rent to own program. And I don't know if Oklahoma has it. I think that they do, but it's called Home Partners of America. So one thing that I was able to talk to people about with relocating here to Kansas City, a lot of them are like, well, I just want to rent because I don't know the area. Well, with Home Partners, they'll actually purchase the home and they can shop from the MLS. The other thing with them is if they can't qualify for whatever reason, whether it's job change or their credit, they can't have any felonies, they can't have any bankruptcies, no restricted dogs. But adding one piece to being able to purchase, where these guys are able to rent the houses for up to 5 years. For us as agents, it's still a purchase for them. And they know that we're going to put them in a good home because Home Partners is the one that is actually purchasing the home, and they're very strict on what they will allow. So that being said, if you guys have that in your area, I would certainly check it out. It's called Home Partners of America. Very easy. You have to have a 580 credit score. You have to make at least $45,000 per year household income on that one, and no bankruptcies, no felonies. Actually, you can have bankruptcies. You can't have any felonies. You can't have any restricted dogs. And then you set them up on an MLS search based on their monthly amount that Home Partners says that they can afford. And basically it's anywhere from a $200,000 house to a $400,000 house. So within that criteria of what they can afford is how you're shopping for these homes. So I had quite a few of those this year for people that were relocating here. And, for COVID, they were actually counting income that a lender will not, such as your unemployment checks. So, pivoting, you have to really think fast and you have to be able to figure out ways to still do this business when everybody else is telling us no, that we can't do this business. So that's one thing that I did. The other thing was just not allowing myself to get in a rut and just sit behind a TV all day, every day, or sit behind the computer. I'm on it a lot, when it comes to Facebook and social media and looking to see who I can connect with and stuff like that. I know there was a ton of Zooms. I didn't partake in a lot of them. When it came to mega camp, everybody can kill me now, but I didn't partake in it. I was too busy, working my business and working in my business versus not, and not saying that the training isn't important or, the masterminds and stuff like that, because that is very important. But at the end of the day, I needed to work and I needed to know that I was meeting my goals, because my goal was 20 million. It was also 100 units. So I fell short on that. But at the same time, I was okay with where I was at, because last year I sold 62 homes. The year before it was 50 homes. So I'm always knowing those numbers of where I'm at as well.
Okay, so you may I had to tell a couple of people to mute, so I apologize.
That's okay.
I may have missed a couple of things, but so one of the things you talked about. So what is the average sales price for your area, and what is yours? What is your average sales price?
It varies. People will focus on whatever that they can do. That was me. Out of those 77 units, I had a package of properties that was 11 homes or 18 doors. And some of them, while we had initially, it was going to be a commercial deal. And the buyer that I ended up finding for this was a wholesaler. So we ended up breaking them down. So I went as low as 40,000 all the way up to 750,000 is what I think I was my highest. So I'm pretty all over the board. I don't, at the end of the day, it's not about what I'm making. I mean, it'll all come, but it's about helping people. And that's what's important to me. And, just the ability to have the overall opportunity and, learning as I go, because that wholesaling experience was a whole other ball of wax. But I would just say that, my average, because I took some of those lower end houses and stuff, it ended up being like 269 last year. So not where I wanted it to be by any stretch of the imagination. Would love for it to be up over, in the luxury world, now that they've just moved that to 700,000 to qualify for luxury. So now I know I have to, kind of focus on that. But I do qualify for luxury. It's just not my main focus right now. Maybe one day, I don't know.
Gotcha. So, you talked about, your kind of where your business came from. Social media obviously is a huge platform for you. What other levers? You also mentioned agent referrals.
Yes.
What are you doing to build that business, that piece of the business?
It's just a one and done conversation with everybody. It's about building those relationships. So that's where I will spend time in Messenger or on text messages, getting to know others. This year, last year, and the year before, it was face to face. So anytime that I could go to an event, I went. For instance, when I got luxury certified with my CLMHS or CLHMS, we went to Naples for that. So there was a group of us that went and sat in a classroom for 3 days, but yet we stayed at a house and was able to mastermind and really get to know the people that were in the house or with us on the trip. So for me, traveling, I love it, but also being able to connect with other agents. Last January, I guess we're a year out now, I went to Paris. So we went to the family reunion in France. So being able to, network and grow with and meet those people as well, and staying connected to them all year. So it's not just a one and done. You have to be meaningful in your relationships, and you have to make sure that you're putting into them what they're putting into you. Because if you're not, again, it's not genuine, it's fake, and it will become very one-sided real quick, and people don't like that and they notice it.
Gotcha. So true. So let me ask you this, because of your military connection background, I'm not familiar with where you are in Kansas. You're in Overland Park, right? Is it Overland Park?
Mm-hmm.
So is there military presence there? Because I noticed on your credentials, you've got some certifications, if you will, some credentials for working military. So tell us a little bit about that.
So Fort Leavenworth is here, and that is probably about 30 minutes away from me. So it's not that far away, and I have done business out there. But there's also the recruiters that I have that are local. So they're all over the place. And I can tell you guys, if you guys make friends with your recruiters and you help them, with their missions and goals and stuff like that too, they're going to help you because they have to, most of the time, especially in Oklahoma City, there's not a base. So they're going to be buying houses. And if you're able to pour into them what they're willing to pour back into you, the battalion is right there in Oklahoma City, is down there by the memorial. So if you guys can, try to work your way into there as well, I would say do it because especially if you have an affiliation of any sort with, the military, they're going to be more receptive towards you. And but again, it's a two-way street. All of our businesses are give and take, and you have to be able to and willing to help them with their missions and goals as well, because they're going to be willing to help you. If you can get in with a recruiting station or stations, and they're telling you, hey, so and so is coming in, let me connect you. That was 3 of my deals this year was the recruiters. One of them went through the home partners route because he knew he was only going to be here 3 years. One of them bought, and one sold 2 houses. So it just, and again, you have to be able to help them with their missions and goals as well. So that's how I use my military stuff. We do have a base in on the Missouri side, which is Whiteman, but that one's about 45 minutes away. And it's a long 45 minutes. So I did one deal out there, and I know that's out of my wheelhouse. I'm like, I can't do that again this year because it's far. It takes a long time for you to drive out there. And then it's a whole day trip. So I know that is not, as much as I would love to be able to help everyone out there, I'll refer it out.
So are you licensed in Missouri and Kansas? Or just,
I'm sorry?
are you licensed? Did you say that was in Missouri? Are you licensed in both states?
I border Kansas City, so I'm licensed in both states. I do cover about a 45-mile radius around the city because it's so easy just to, run up to Northland and, that's 20 minutes away, but yet there might be a dozen or so houses that will take you a little bit further away. So again, I know where my strengths are at when it comes to the locations, and you guys have all of that available to you as well. I mean, you guys can go out to Choctaw, or you guys can go down to Moore, or, up to Stillwater, or whatever the case may be. But just know that when you go up there, you need to know that area and being able to make it worth your while as far as helping somebody up there. Because it's not just putting them under contract. You got to go through your inspections. You might have to go up there with the appraisals if you're listing and stuff like that. So just know the time that you're going to be spending, and it's going to be a lot of drive time. So I call it windshield time. And I use that time. I'm not just sitting there listening to a radio or a podcast or anything like that. I'm using it to talk to people. I'm on social media of some sorts during that time. I know no texting and driving, but I'm a bad habit of that one. But now that I got Clubhouse, I can sit there and, talk to people while I'm driving and not have to worry about, just the texting and stuff like that. So I utilize my time, and I learned that when I was an Army recruiter in Stillwell, I would start calling through those lists and, trying to get people to make those appointments and stuff like that. So, I think that's where my sales initially came from, because the Army teaches you how to sell. Whether you want to be a recruiter or not, they're going to, if you come on orders for it, you're going to learn how to sell. So that was one of the best trainings I could have ever went to. And it will always forever be embedded in my head.
Gotcha. So I want to shift gears for just a second, because after listening to all this, I am absolutely fascinated about your bodybuilding. And wow, because I love to work out, and I'm pretty committed to that. And yet I can't imagine that. I know time investment that it takes to also do that. So tell us about that.
So I'm an early riser, and for me to get my energy in a day is, and to stay in a pattern and routine is to go work out first thing in the morning. So whether it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., I will be at the gym. Now I've slacked since my last competition because of the Army, I do have a lot of injuries. And so starting from my neck and going all the way down to my lower back, it's one knot, one bulge, whatever, one injury after another into my hips. So for me, going to the gym, as much as I like to say I like to do it. My body hates me for it every single day. So I have to pull myself out of bed just like everybody else does. And I have to force myself to eat properly. I told you guys before I got on here, I ate 5 donuts. Yeah, those little white devils, they get me. And I love them. They're like, so at the end of the day, I have my bad habits as well. That was for me to take my mind off from like the day-to-day stresses of real estate. And so by being able to go focus on something else, I never imagined that a year ago is when I said that I wanted to get back into the gym. I guess it was probably last August. And my trainer, by the way, is now my client because he immediately wanted to buy a house, but he also got his real estate license because he wants to invest. So, going to the gym and finding people that you can connect with. He also referred me out his cousin. So for me to spend that money and time into the gym, I got it back tenfold. But the bodybuilding part of it is a huge network of people that it costs money to get into that you can call it a business because that's exactly what it is, but that sport and being able to connect with the people that are that you're working out with. For instance, the lady that did my suits, I'm now selling her house. I'm helping her buy some land and she wants to build a barndominium. So they all know what I do because I blast it out on social media a lot. And anybody that knows me and follows me on social media, they know that I post a lot. I don't care. You can unfollow, you can unfriend, or whatever the case may be. But it's those ones that are watching that are reaching out and saying, hey, can you sell my house? Or can you help me buy, or whatever the case may be? Or I get all those tags on, these social media groups because they know that I'm actively working in the business. If you're a silent agent, it's going to be shown as well.
Right.
Did that answer?
Yeah. Well, I think about, and it's not a surprise now that I've really had an opportunity to hear your story. It's not a surprise because I understand complete dedication and commitment to whether it is your business as, working out, bodybuilder, whether it is your real estate business. It is a commitment. How do you keep yourself always, and always is probably not a good term, but how do you keep yourself motivated or committed every day to get up and do this? To be able to perform as you have performed this last year, okay, to be able to do that many units on your own, you don't have a whole lot of days that you can say, no, I just don't feel up to it today.
No, I don't, but I do have those days. And I know personally for myself, because I have PTSD, I have depression, and I have anxiety. So if I don't get into a consistent habit, daily forming habit, then I can go down to a dark path real fast. So welcome to being in the military and, going to war and everything like that. So that's a part of who I am. But so I know that if I don't stay in a pattern and routine, that I will fall deep real fast. So the beginning of COVID, I mean, it was depressing for everybody, right? So I had to figure it out. My trainer was nice enough to still allow us to come to his home, even though the gyms were closed down, and we still worked out from his basement. And so that was one way to stay motivated. And, I just had to, you have to find the motivation within yourself and your reason. And, everybody's why. Everybody is different. So my family is important to me, and it might not seem like I spend a lot of time with my family, but I do. Except for my daughter, she's with her boyfriend all the time now. But my husband, I was able to pull him out of a full-time job where he was getting sick day in and day out because of it. My father-in-law owns a body shop here, and so him being around all of the elements at a body shop was making him sick all the time. Now he's having to get some tests done because we don't know what's going on with his health, but at the end of the day, that was important for me to pull him out of the day-to-day life. And I don't care if he sits home all day, every day, but at the same time, at least I know that I can financially take care of us. And so those are my reasons to just keep going. Am I going to collapse one day? Maybe, I don't know. And if I could just fall asleep for a solid 8 hours, I'd be okay. I wake up in the middle of the night and half the time Linda's shaking her head. I'm always up in the middle of the night. It's like 2 o'clock, never fails. My body starts hurting and I roll over and get on my phone. But you'd be surprised at how many people are still on their phones at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I have those midnight conversations. I've had clients come over from Germany and had to have those conversations because that's when they were awake. So it's what works for me. And I know that everybody's not like that, but at the end of the day, it's just, you got to find the motivation within yourself. So if you got goals, hold yourself accountable to those goals and make sure that you get there. This year it's 25 million and we'll see what I do.
Okay, so Kaleena, so speaking of goals and holding yourself accountable, do you work with a coach? Do you have a coach?
I do. So I did have MAPS coaches. They were not what I needed because they don't hold you accountable. Maybe there's some and I just had the wrong ones, but I've had 3 and that's not who I needed. I need somebody that's more like a drill sergeant to keep me going. And so I actually just recently hired Tony Giordano out of LA.
Mhm.
And he's with KW. He's extremely smart in what he does. He wrote the book, The Social Agent, Social Agent 2.0. And his way of thinking, it challenges me. So now he doesn't have any credit for anything that I did last year, but I hope that he has all the credit, to help me out with this year. So I just met him. We went to Cabo in November. So that was another trip that I went on. And just being able to meet just these talented people that's in this industry, and learn from them. And I watch everybody on social media too, and I learn from everybody on there. So when it comes to my goals, I say them out loud, exactly what I want. I'm in my spreadsheet day in and day out and watching my own numbers. I don't need somebody to, crack the whip or whatever the case may be to make sure that I'm holding those goals because I'm going to hold myself accountable for them.
Okay, so you said in the beginning that you were introverted until you became a recruiter.
Mhm.
And do you find that when what I know for me, if I'm not in my sweet spot, it tends to kind of suck the energy out of me.
Mhm.
When I am doing what I'm good at, it gives me energy. Have you kind of figured out that whole thing of introvert, extrovert? Do you get energy from being with people, and how does that all come together?
I do, but they also can be a distraction too. So if I'm not, I love being able to talk to people. I love hanging out. But at the same time, I know that if I'm not around the right people that are doing the right things, then it's a huge distraction and then I don't get my goals accomplished. So that's, it's very easy to always do events. Like you will not see me out at a real estate event where there's drinking involved or anything like that, because at the end of the day, I feel like crap from it. I don't get anything accomplished and I could be home with my family during that time. So, and it took me a while to figure that out. But at the, because I thought I had to be around those events. And when I was in insurance, I did have to be around those events. Now I don't have to be. And so if they have, a way I look at it is if I have a buyer for their house or they have a buyer for my house, it's going to come that way. I don't need to necessarily network with, I love all the agents that are in, Kansas City in my area, but those are not my focus. I'd rather have all the agents that are not in my area that I'm connecting with.
There you go. There you go. So I noticed on one of when I was strolling through your Facebook, you had on there, and again, if you mentioned this early on, I apologize, but you put on there unrecruitable. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Speak a little bit to that, since you have been with and then left Keller and then back. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So I've been getting a lot of emails, messages from other agencies, and phone calls. And, at the end of the day, I get what they're doing and why they're, trying to come after me, just like why we're trying to come after them and stuff like that. But when I saw it, it was actually Wendy out of Chicago, I saw
Mhm.
hers in the middle of the night. And I'm like, oh, I'm stealing that one. And it just happened to be because I got this text message, or not text message, Facebook message from somebody I didn't even know. And when it goes to your other folder and you can see, yeah, one of those. So I'm always watching those messages because you never know when your next client's going to be in there. But I was like, you know what, dang it, let me go ahead and just slap that on my profile too. Because at the end of the day, I think it's if you really truly believe that you're home, then you're going to stay. If there's always the wandering eyes or, hearts or whatever, then that's when you're going to go somewhere. I had somebody reach out to me here locally that was, she's like, hey, we're going to do a TV show in Kansas City. We would love to see if you would, come on there. I said, okay, great. As long as you're not trying to recruit me, I would love to be able to sit down and talk with you. At the end of the day, it was a recruiting session, and it was not, I was a little, I thought I was very vocal up front about don't try to recruit me. Um, and then it turned into that. So I was like, okay, I got to go. You just now wasted an hour or 2 hours of my time. And I, had other things to do. So um, I don't have a problem telling people no. And I will be very firm about it if I have to. So when I put that up there, it was because I just got messaged in. But at the end of the day, there's so many people that could relate because I know that they're getting, people are trying to recruit them as well. And that grass is not greener on the other side. And I can say that for a fact because I have been gone and came back.
Well, as a team leader, I appreciate that information because again, if you're not recruitable, I just want to connect, and if it's not a fit, it's not a fit right now. So,
Yeah.
but I appreciate your time is valuable. So, okay, so we've got about 15, 20 minutes left. I want to open this up because we have a lot of people on here. And for agents that are either focused on military or people that have built their business quickly, or people that are looking to do all that, let's open it up and ask some questions since we've got Kaleena with us. Who wants to start? Who's got a question? Comment?
I hear crickets.
Oh, come on. I don't.
Leave it to me to ask the question. Alex Bloom got hit by semi. So I have a question. I remember you talking about having anxiety and everything from the military. And I actually have anxiety, and I'm wondering how did you handle becoming an agent? Sometimes part of our job is full of having that anxiety in the beginning. I don't know what it's like. I'm new to this, so I don't know if it gets better as our career goes on, but how do you cope with that?
For me, if I can figure out like a way to multitask, if something is stressing me out, then I will shift my focus just for a little bit to something else. Whether it was to go to the gym, or if it was to get on social media, or something that would take me away from the stress of what was going on. And you have to be able to multitask in this business in order to just stay up on everything. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to be a solo agent and do all of my stuff on my own, because then I can, get away from a stressful situation and then switch over to like the admin side of things and, just kind of focus on something away from what is stressing me out. Because otherwise I'll take it to my family or yell at somebody that I don't need to yell at, and it won't be good.
Thank you.
Paula,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Paula, as far as like post on Facebook, I don't do like those market update posts. I do my coming soon. I do my under contracts, just sold. And so that's what kind of post that I'm doing. I don't know if that's what you were asking. I see it in the chat is what I'm responding to.
Paula, do you want to jump in? Do you have any other? Do you want to respond there, or? All right. Well, we'll come back to her.
Yes, it answered my question. That's what I've been doing, and that's where I seem to be getting my business from.
I would also say though that if you have another passion, whether it's your kids or if you have a hobby that you do, post about that too, because, you know, I post a lot about the gym stuff. And last year, there was a lot of people that reached out to me of how, like, how motivated my posts were. So those were actually keeping me motivated too. And I felt like I couldn't let people down by failing. So, and everybody knew what my goal was when I finally did compete, and that was to win, and I did. So it just, everybody was watching me and I knew that. So you are now a public figure. You cannot put all your drama out there. I will say that too. Keep your drama to yourself as much as you hate to do it, or get into your little circle of friends that you can talk to. But don't put it out there on blast, because that is like a killer in your industry, or not industry, but in your own personal world, as far as like, oh gosh, what's coming next with this person's post, you know, because you know it's going to be something. So just be careful what you're posting out there.
Great information. Grady, you're waving.
Yes. Okay. Hey there. I had a couple of quick questions. So you're a solo agent, and do you have admin? I'm sorry, I was a couple minutes behind from an appointment. You have no admin?
I don't suggest doing it. Not everybody can, not everybody can do that. But at the end of the day, it just, yeah, it's, like I said, I need to, I am a control freak. I need to learn to let that go. I have tried the admins in the past, both virtually as well as in person. My virtual admin, she was amazing. So if you guys know Jackie Binns out of Dothan, Alabama, she was my virtual. Now she's a rock star real estate agent. She was licensed previously in St. Louis, but at the end of the day, it became, I should have kept her, but I know that I was holding her back as well. But it just, again, that control part that I have to learn to let go a little bit. So if you're not a good admin person, at least hire a TC. Let them do your contracts for you, or compliance and stuff like that, so that you are able to at least leverage that out. And then that'll be my first hire this year, I think.
Okay, so that was my first question. Second question was going to be, so how long have you been in this, and at what point did you see a jump in your business, and what did you attribute it to?
I got licensed in September 2013. I tried to go full-time in 14. And the only reason why it didn't work for me was because I had initially started out on a team, and I wasn't prepared, or I sold a little bit over 2 million in like 9 months, but I was not prepared for all the money that was taken from me from being on that team. So I made a little bit under $20,000 during that time, even though I should have made, you know, closer to 60 and almost capped. So I left, and that was the biggest reason why I left KW. I went to a small boutique broker, sold another 1.3 million. But at the end of the day, I was like behind on what I would make in a year. And so I went back to work full time in 2015. And that's kind of like what my comfort was. I had a full-time paycheck coming in, no matter what that dollar amount was, because I was still on commissions. I just had a base to go along with it. And so I knew something was going to come in. And so my turning point was in 2017, when I was working full-time, being stressed out from my boss because he was never happy, even though I had tripled his business too with insurance. But I also tripled my own business in real estate. So as a part-time agent, I sold a little bit over 5 million. And at that time, at my boutique broker, her and I had the conversation that, hey, I can't keep doing this by myself. I need help. I thought I wanted to build a team at that time. That's when I left and went to EXP for 4 hot months. I even capped with them. Found out you have to still, you know, contribute money before you can get that icon status and get all that $16,000 back. And I was like, well, this is not fun. Problems with the brokers changing the rules. That was not even in our area. So the Missouri broker was different than the Kansas broker, and they had 2 different rules. And it just was, you know, I was like, forget this. So I ended up coming back to KW, and I was still full-time at that time. So I knew I had to run. I knew I had to be able to figure out, like, how can I keep my business going? Because now I was full-time real estate versus having that insurance to back me up as well. So that was in 2018 that I started doing all of that. I 2018, I sold a little bit over 10 million. And when I first got told I was going to be a mega agent, I was like, what the heck is that? I have no idea what that is. And so when somebody told me what that was, I was like, oh, well, I guess now I have to, do 10 million in sales. And so, that just, when somebody tells me something, I'm like, okay, well, now I got to do it. And I, figure out how to do it. So tried the route of bringing team members on. Some of them are brand new, and their motivation is different than mine. And so they didn't want to work as hard as I wanted to. So the team members, again, it's not that they don't work, because I know that they do. There's a lot of amazing teams and stuff like that. They just don't work for me. So I'll do at some point in time, all the back end support, but I don't know if I'll have a full blown team. Hopefully that answered in the long run.
How would you say your work-life balance is?
I work and I work and I work. My husband knows that when I come home that I'm still probably going to work. But he's okay with that, because when we go on trips, and I say we, because he's generally with me on these trips, unless it's like mega camp or family reunion. And the reason why he doesn't go with me on those is because that's my time to network. And my roommate is always Jackie Stratton out of Denver. So, and so, it's when we go on trips, that's our downtime. And that's when I'm able to actually have that one-on-one time with him. And he's fine with that. So he knows how hard I work, and he appreciates it. So, and so does my daughter. My son lives in Michigan. He's 25. I've got 2 grandbabies as well. So they're all still in Michigan. I need to make a trip back home. But, at the end of the day, they know, love, and appreciate what I do for them. And I know that there's a lot of people that have the little ones, but I don't have the little ones. So they're grown up.
So how many hours do you think you're putting in a week?
Well, if you count my insomnia time, probably, I don't know, 60 to 80. It just really depends.
Okay. It's still mind blowing that that your efficiency level is really, really high to be able to achieve what you've achieved. And in what we think is like, a lot of us can't wrap our brain around doing that many transactions by ourselves. So.
Right. And I, everybody has to know their own limitations. And again, what I do may not be the same thing that you guys do, or you guys could do better and, become efficient and have a team, or however you guys want to get to that next level. Just, I still have people that I chase after. So I ended up switching offices. When I came back to KW, I was at a different office. And at that time, I was reaching to the top of my potential, where I didn't have anybody else to chase after and to learn and grow and build from. So by going to the largest office in Overland Park, I was now bumped back down, and I had to climb my way back up. So I'm the number 2 solo agent right now. Well, my number 1 just actually added his son yesterday. So he's now a team. So I'm like, yes. But, at the end of the day, it just, I have that inner competition within myself to always just try to, keep going up. And January 1st, we all reset, and we're all just at that same level. I do have 3 closings this week. Put 2 more under contract this week. So it's just always an inner, I'm always wanting to make sure that I keep the same standard of life that I've built for my family, and now catch up with all the retirement stuff because of switching jobs and not retiring from the Army and just stuff like that. It's just, so if anybody's starting young, get with your financial advisors, start putting stuff away. If you're in midlife like I am, you better start working hard and start working fast, because who knows when your last days are going to be. And for the older generation and stuff like that, I would hope that you're not having to start all over in this career, because it's a hard one.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that, sometimes I'll run from 3:30 in the morning, like yesterday, and I crashed at 7:30 at night. So a lot of people know after 7:30, I'm not responding. And if I do, it's going to be in the middle of the night. If you're texting me at 10 o'clock, you might get one at 2 o'clock. So,
get ready.
One of those things. Yeah.
Siobhan, did you have a question.
I
Comment.
do. I do have little ones, so you might hear them. And they're in the.
That's fine.
Do you spend any money on marketing or any type of leverage in your business?
Leverage, no, not yet, except for like coaching. I do pay out for coaching. When it comes to marketing, I paid out $91,000 last year to agent referrals. And so that's my biggest expense. And I'll take that all day, every day, because that was probably the bulk of my business. I would say about 75% of my business was agent to agent referrals. It is an expense that you have to know that's coming. So if you are within a capping period, like right now, my cap reset on December 1st, and I'll be capped within the next week or so. But you have to know that this is going to be an expense. And so it's not always fun if you have a referral that's getting paid out, plus you're paying your cap and whatever else that you guys are paying. If you have a productivity coach or whatever that you have to pay for, just know that the light is at the end of the tunnel if you keep working it. So I don't buy leads. I've been down that road. When you buy leads, you have to be able to work them. And if you're not calling them and working them, then they're just going to, you're just going to be running those numbers out the window and losing money. And then as far as like military relocations, I had, I think it was 10 of them that were reloads. And the Hero to Home, what is that? That military group?
Oh,
Justin?
it's the Hero Home Team. It's the name of my team that I
Okay.
run.
Are you
I'm
military?
also a veteran too, so thank you for
Okay.
your service.
Well, thank you as well. I would say for you, get into all of the veteran groups that you possibly can, because and become vocal in them. As far as, you don't always have to say, hey, I'm a real estate agent who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today, but you can offer your help, and you can sit back and watch those groups, and you can learn who's interested, who's getting ready to PCS or ETS, and be able to just become their go-to person. So I just found a women's group that's all veterans and or active duty serving. And there's some of them that are like, hey, I want to get my real estate license. What do I have to do? They're overseas. So now I got to figure out where KW is at overseas. But, at the end of the day, if you're able to even grow your business that way with helping people get into this business, there's the active duty passive income groups. So people that are serving, anybody can be in that group, where these guys are being taught to buy homes so that they're able to build a passive income or retirement. I wish I would have known about it when I was, still serving, because you're limited on the income. I don't know as if they would have allowed for me to get my real estate license when I was serving, because the rules were rather different then. But I know that people are getting their real estate license while they're serving. So if you can become their resource, whether you're a veteran or if you work with military, then I would definitely, just again, offer that help as much as you possibly can. And it's not always about you. It's about, serving others and helping them too.
Right. Who else? Who else has a question?
Justin,
are they allowing you on Tinker at all?
We do not go on to Tinker. Like, we don't go on to
Okay.
Tinker. We don't go on to any basis and do any marketing. I really do like the recruiting idea. I don't know why I've never thought about that. That's a brilliant idea. So we have
Yeah.
a lot of National Guard here. We do have 2 military bases, but we do serve a lot of the military community here. But we've never really heavily tapped into military relocation and agent to agent referral for those. And we do some, but not a whole lot. So that's why I asked you that question, because we are trying to dive into that a little bit more.
What about the reserve units? Are you tapping into those?
Yes.
Okay, so I would say if you're not MRP certified, I would definitely get that, because that was asked of me earlier, and I was like, oh darn, no. But trust me, on a Sunday, I got MRP certified. You can do it in it's a 6-hour course. I got mine done in about 3 hours. So, so get MRP certified. But also, what branch were you?
Army.
Okay, AUSA, Association of United States Army. You need to join that. And you need to help. I'm in a director of recruiting role where I'm trying to recruit. Anybody can join it as a corporate partner, but especially if you're in the Army, you get discounts and stuff like that. But you're able to offer that as well. So if you go in there helping them to like, hey, I want to help you recruit for this organization, then they're likely to help you as well, with your business.
And that's the AUSA, or is that?
Mhm.
Okay.
So AUSA, and there should be an Oklahoma City chapter.
Awesome.
You two might want to, Justin, you might want to reach out to her separately. That's because I know that's a area that you really want to build as well. Continue building, I should say.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you're open to that.
Yeah, I'll put my number and email address in here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else? We've only got a couple minutes left. Anything else? Because I would love to ask
Any other questions?
what's next for you?
How is business down there? I mean, you guys are just still killing it, right? With resale and new construction and everything.
Yeah, business. We've had a great year.
You're muted.
Oh. I am. I am not muted. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Huh.
I can hear you.
Oh, wait, it was me that was muted.
Oh, okay.
Hold on.
Okay. I was like,
Sorry.
I'm not saying that. So
I feel like I can't.
So yeah, I just wanted to ask you one more question. What's next for you? Where do you see yourself in the next 3-5 years? What's your long term?
I want to be able to travel more, and I want to be able to up that price point of my husband wants to move from Kansas City to somewhere warm, but I told him there's no way I'm starting over. If I did, I would actually join a team at that time. So I would probably, I would say that for right now, I'm just going to still build my business and just keep stashing money away and figure it out. You never know if tomorrow's going to happen. So I try to just live day to day versus living in the future and wishing and hoping. And, when I was growing up, we didn't have anything. I'm originally from Michigan. And so I'm used to disappointment. I'm used to being, let down and having to work as hard as I have to. And at the end of the day, you're only going to make your own way and somebody's not going to do it for you. As far as CRM, I don't really use my CRMs. We have to use the command for our paperwork, but I have them. I just don't utilize them like I should. That's why I said I need to hire a virtual assistant to get in there and do that. I use a spreadsheet. My spreadsheet is very detailed. I'll share my screen real quick.
Oh, I think we've got to get in here and let you. Let me ask her.
Oh, to give me
I gotta
authorization.
call someone and say, share the screen. You know what? She's not even out there. So,
oh, wait, I got it now. Okay.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
There you go.
Can you see it? So this is my spreadsheet that I use. And I know that if it's an agent to agent referral, if it's a SOI, if it's Facebook, my closed volume, this is last year's numbers, was 20,174,958. My GCI was 514. By the way, you guys, I made Gary's top 100 this year, and I had no idea what that even meant. So that was awesome. I had my first meeting. I don't really keep track of my appointments like I should, which is this line right here. My closed volume, let's see if I can get this, figure out where I'm at here. So I can keep my notes through here, who everything was referred by, how much I'm paying out for referral fees. So this is what I operate off from. And this is courtesy of my old OP that did this spreadsheet. And I just kept it going from there. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, okay. So how often do you reach out to your people? You just work off this? Is this active, or do you have nurtures that you're doing, or past clients you keep in touch?
So all of my nurtures are still in here as well, pre-buy, pre-MLS, active. But my people that I have bought and sold with over the last 8 years, if I stay in front of them, it's through social media. And I don't make it a habit of calling them every single day or every month or every other month, asking them, who do you know that's going to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? I do pop buys. So they know that I am able to, that I'm here and I'm still available for them.
Gotcha.
I do those like once a quarter. I'll do events as well. And so there's things that I do to stay in front of them and still thank them and remind them that I'm here. This year I am starting to actually start farming certain neighborhoods so that I can try to, build up the business as far as listings are concerned. I'm buyer heavy, and that's a lot of because of the referrals. So I'm probably like 65% buyers and then 45% or 35% sellers. So it just, I would love to switch that around. I know that I won't ever be able to give up those buyers as I stay a single agent. But I will say that I am going to incorporate the showing assistant role as well. I'm not hiring them for my team, but I will utilize anybody that is new in the office and that they want to, run out and show homes all day. Great. Let me know when you're available.
Absolutely. That's leverage. That's leverage. We have
Yeah.
some folks that do that too. Right, Grady? So, all right. Well, it is 12:31. And Kaleena, I just want to say thank you so much. It has just been such a pleasure. And you're inspiring. You're an inspiration to me, and I'm sure to many, many others.
Thanks.
And what you have accomplished is pretty incredible. And you are definitely an icon in our eyes. Mega agent. We look at mega agent here and icon here. So you just bumped up that little title. So anyway,
Awesome.
anybody
Thank
else?
you.
Anybody want to close with anything? Or if not,
You guys, I am maxed out on friends on Facebook. If you'll send me a friend request, I'll go through and unfriend somebody I don't know and don't interact with. So I keep that pretty maxed out. LinkedIn, wide open. So you guys can get me on LinkedIn or even, new Clubhouse. So it's just utilize your social media because it can be a very useful tool for you, and you never know who your next deal is going to be coming from.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time. Someone as busy as you. Thank you. We do appreciate you.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.